Robert, how do I tell Celia? What the hell am I supposed to say?
You want to let me tell?
That wouldn't help. I mean, I can just hear myself now. By the way, Celia, the real Grant is alive and living in New York City. And I've got to change my name because we're moving to Montana where the government set me up with a job sheep herding.
All right. There's no easy way to break it to her.
Robert, she's going to be destroyed. Don't you realize what that woman has gone through? She has put up with everything up to this point, but nobody can expect her to accept this.
Grant, look, starting a new life doesn't have to be a negative thing. A lot of people would kill for the chance.
Yes, but we have a choice.
Stay here?
Face him. Explain it to him. Robert, I know Grant Putnam. I know how he thinks. I know exactly how he'll react. It is the same way I'd react.
The guy's been locked up for 8 years.
But that doesn't mean he'll be irrational.
His cup will hardly be running over with the milk of human kindness.
Robert, I'm through running.
All right. Promise me this. Don't dismiss the relocation idea. Please.
You're trying awfully hard to get rid of me.
I'm trying to protect you. Now, there's a big difference.
I'll think it over.
WSB, Grant. Looks like our department and their organization are going to be working together again. We're going to have to ask you to keep this whole thing in the strictest confidence.
Why?
Some decisions have to be made in regard to crimes committed against the real Grant Putnam.
What kinds of decisions, Mr. Jackson?
I can't say any more. The WSB is throwing a lid on the whole thing.
All right. I'll keep quiet about it. I'll tell Celia to do this.
No, you're not to say anything to Celia. They said that specifically.
Are you serious?
My orders come from the top, Grant. You're to say nothing to her. As far as Celia and the rest of the world are concerned, the real Grant Putnam is dead. And we're going to keep it that way.
The scam thickens.
What now?
Well, it seems I'm quite a bit more advanced than Mr. Hannibal had figured.
Quick learner.
He doesn't want to waste my time with beginner's routines.
Yeah, consider it.
He graciously allowed that I only need 8 lessons, for the price of 10, of course.
Cheaper, twice the price.
Mr. Hannibal works extra hard with us born dancers, you know.
No doubt.
Anyway, I better be off. Another step towards Broadway.
Listen, before you go, I want you to slip this on.
What?
It's the bracelet I took off you the other day.
What's the matter? Wasn't your style?
Cute. Now, put it on.
No, not for my class.
Well, it'll hardly weigh you down.
I never wear jewelry when I dance.
You'll wear this piece of jewelry, Fontaine, otherwise you ain't going. Allow me.
If you insist.
Humor me.
So what are your plans for today?
Oh, I've got Jackson, Grant, Chernin. Oh, what a mess. I don't know what to call him anymore.
Oh, imagine how he feels.
Well, anyway, they're dropping by later on, and hopefully Grant will have come to some decision regarding this identity business.
How can he do that?
How can he not? I mean, either way, the poor guy's going to lose.
If it were me, I'd stay here and face whatever's coming.
You just don't want to lose 2 good friends.
Do you?
Of course not. But look, I'm going to understand if he decides to move on.
Well, so would I. I just wouldn't like it very much.
Yeah.
Poor Celia, this must be just tearing her apart.
She doesn't know yet.
Well, she has to. Doesn't she? Well, why wouldn't Grant tell her?
Because the State Department said that she wasn't to be informed.
But that's so unfair. She has a right to be in on this decision. It's her life,
Hey,
too.
wait a minute. This is not my idea. This comes from the State Department. Regardless, whatever decision the Grant makes will be in Celia's best interest.
Well, I'm glad I'm not in his shoes, or hers.
Yeah, well, your shoes are in enough hot water at the moment with this dance scam you're trying to expose.
I'm enjoying it.
Well, I'm not. However, this should help reassure me a little bit. Now, pay attention while I show you how to operate it.
You mean it does something more than just sit there?
One very important thing. Now, when you press the clasp here, it sends out an electronic signal, which comes directly to me, so I will always know exactly where you are.
Good work, 007. But save it for someone who needs it. I'm not going to be in any danger.
Look, Holly, if I thought that, I wouldn't have had it done in the first place.
Listen, I appreciate the offer, but really, it's not necessary.
I will be the judge of that.
But, Robert,
But me no buts. No, I never wanted you involved in this in the first place.
you're just frightened that I'd steal your thunder.
Please, don't be an idiot. You want to play Nancy Drew? Let's have a couple of safety factors, all right?
Spoil sport.
Listen, you don't wear that thing. Your Broadway career is kaput.
Well, since you put it like that, I still think it's silly, but I'll do it.
I thought so. Now, one more thing.
What now?
Be careful.
Robert, don't you think you're overreacting just a tad here? I mean, I'm just playing with a small-time con artist. I'm not trying to break an international spy ring.
You don't know how dangerous this Hannibal really is. It's been my experience with criminals. You get one cornered, you never know how they're going to react.
Hello.
Roland Gilbert.
Speaking.
Mr. Gilbert, this is Robert Scorpio. I'm the Commissioner of Police in Port Charles.
Whatever it is, I know nothing about it. I've never even been to Port Charles.
Oh, your reputation precedes you.
Oh?
There's a new dance instructor in town, name of Hannibal.
Dance? You mean like in the cha-cha-cha?
I mean, like in Broadway.
I see. Well, what does this Hannibal have to do with me?
Well, I was hoping that you could tell me that. He's opened a studio here and begun offering lessons. Now, he started attracting quite a few students, largely on the strength of guaranteeing them an audition with you.
What?
Are you auditioning for a Broadway musical now?
Well, yes, Hopscotch Girls.
Uh-huh. That's the carrot he's dangling in front of the donkeys.
Pardon?
Do you have a professional tie with any dance school?
Absolutely not. Then I most definitely conduct my own auditions. I'd never trust anyone else to do that.
Yeah, that's what we figured.
The man's a fraud.
Looks that way.
Then what are you going to do about it?
Cancel my lessons.
Commissioner, I won't have my name exploited by some two-bit con man.
He's asking a good deal more than 2 bits, Mr. Gilbert, but I see your point.
I'll sue.
That's your privilege. But for now, let's give Hannibal some rope and see what he does with it.
You think that's wise?
I want to make absolutely sure we've got an airtight case before we drop the net on him. Otherwise, he'll be back on the streets in 24 hours and pull some other scam.
Well, if you're sure.
Don't worry. You've got Hannibal under close surveillance. I think the best thing for you to do now is just to sit tight and let us handle it.
You'll let me know what happens.
You'll be the first.
Very well. Oh, feel free to call on me if I can be of any service at all.
Oh, I will, but I don't need your help, believe me.
I'd dearly love to bring this sordid affair to a speedy conclusion, Commissioner. I've worked very hard to establish my reputation. This charlatan can destroy it in a matter of days.
Oh, we're doing our best, Mr. Gilbert. In fact, I've assigned one of our top detectives to the case. She's closing in on Hannibal right now.
5, 6, spin and down. Very good. Very, very good.
Really?
Margaret, you're a natural.
It's your teaching, Mr. Hannibal. You brought out things in me I never knew I had.
You've certainly been a pleasant surprise. I knew you had talent, but I never expected you to pick up the technique so quickly.
So do you think I'm ready to audition for Roland Gilbert?
My dear, I can practically guarantee it. In fact, you may not even need 7 more lessons.
You think so?
Oh, Melissa, come on in. Have a seat. I'll be right with you. Well, we'll see how you do at your next session, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if you could skip several more lessons.
Oh, that would be marvelous.
You know, the road to Broadway is paved with dreamers. Now, you can get there if you work very hard. It's up to you. I'll see you next time. Melissa, are we all set?
Well, not exactly, Mr. Hannibal.
And what do you mean?
Well, I only have $15.
Then what are you doing here?
Well, couldn't I just take one lesson? I mean, they're $15 apiece, right?
Wrong. They're $150 for 10.
I know, but I can't afford all 10.
Melissa, I can't afford to take on a student who's only willing to meet me halfway. Now, I make a commitment to each and every dancer who walks through that door. If they're willing to give me their all, then I'm willing to help them on their road to stardom.
But I want that more than anything.
In fact, I can do even more than that. I personally will do everything that I can to see to it that the greatest door of all is open to them. An audition with Roland Gilbert. But only to those students who enroll in my complete course. Now, if you're not willing to go the distance, then neither am I.
Oh, I am. It's just that I really can't afford to.
Melissa, the road to Broadway is paved with dreamers. To get there, it takes talent, hard work, sacrifice. It requires an enormous physical investment. In comparison, the financial one is minimal.
Oh, no, I know that. It's just that
I was talking to Raleigh just the other day.
Raleigh?
Roland Gilbert. He was telling me about all the starry-eyed innocents who litter the path to the Great White Way. Dancers like yourself, who had the dream but are unwilling to pay the price.
No, but I am.
Believe me, I'm doing you a favor when I tell you, if you're unable to take all 10 lessons, don't take any. You'd just be setting yourself up for a big disappointment. I just couldn't let you do that.
I'll get the money, Mr. Hannibal, I swear it. I will be back with $150. Somehow.
You can't be too dedicated. Oh, you're still here.
Yes, I'm just recovering. You gave me quite a workout today.
Well, Roland Gilbert is a much harder taskmaster than I.
I can hardly wait.
So, how much can I get for the ring?
It's not very valuable.
It is to me.
Huh. Well, then you sell it to yourself, huh?
Well, it belonged to my mother.
I can't buy sentiment, just jewels.
All right, how much?
I'll give you $100 for it, huh?
What?
You gotta take it or leave it.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
But it's more than it's worth.
Look, I need $125.
Then you gotta go to a bank, huh? Hey, I'm a salesman. I'm not a loan shark.
Please, sir, it's really important.
Yeah, it always is.
If I don't get the money, I'll just die.
Yeah, but if I give it to you, it'll kill me. 1 1/4, huh?
$125, yes.
Yeah. I don't know what's the matter with me. You know, a soft touch like me, I ought to be in the Peace Corps.
Ooh, so you'll give it to me.
Yeah, 1, 2, 5, and not a penny more.
No, that's all I need.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
Thank you.
25. Yeah, now you do me a favor.
What?
Yeah, you don't come back again. I mean, doing business with you on a regular basis, I'd be broke in a week.
I've got what I wanted. I will not be back, I promise.
Yeah. Hey, can I help you, lady? Mrs. Scorpio. Yeah, well, what do I owe this honor to?
Just browsing.
Yeah, anything in particular?
What a lovely ring. May I see it?
Oh, yeah, a nice piece of merchandise. Matter of fact, it just come in. Cost me an arm and a leg.
Must be very valuable.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Would you hold it for me?
You mean like in hock?
You do that on occasion, don't you?
Not unless I have to. Hey, I'm sorry. I'd really like to help you, Mrs. Scorpio, but I'm a businessman, huh? You know, I gotta eat, too.
So what are you planning to do with the ring?
Oh, I could get $250 for it easy. Yeah, well, I'll just sell it to the first buyer.
You're looking at her.
Yeah, you want to buy it?
Yes, but not for $250.
It's worth every penny.
Oh, really? Then why did you tell the girl who just sold it to you that it wasn't worth more than $100?
You've been spying on me, huh? Ain't that illegal?
No more so than jacking up prices unfairly.
Yeah, but what do you want from me? I'm a businessman.
And I'm the police commissioner's wife.
You ain't got a bull rank on me, are you?
Just reminding you.
Yeah, well, now I know where we stand. Yeah, well, at least let me make my money back on the deal.
That's fair.
I paid $150 for the ring.
No, you didn't. You paid $125. I'll give you $130. That gives you $5 for your trouble.
Terrific. Now I can retire.
Well, if you're not happy, we can
Oh,
always
no.
renegotiate.
No. That's fine. Any longer, and you'll be talking me into paying you to take the rent.
That's true. So we have a deal.
Hey, what choice do I got?
You don't mind a check, do you?
Oh, boy.
Hello, Robert. Mr. Jackson, I apologize if I've kept you waiting.
Well, it's perfectly all right. Have you come to a decision?
I thought I had, but I just don't know anymore.
What changed your mind?
Well, I was beginning to think that things might work out here after all. That it wouldn't be necessary for me and Celia to leave. Now I'm not sure.
Now you think you should?
I really don't know.
I honestly believe that relocating is your best move.
Yes, I know you do, sir.
You know, of course, that even if you should decide to stay here in Port Charles, you'll have to assume a different name. You can't go on calling yourself Grant Putnam.
How important is a name?
It depends on you. Believe me, once the news gets out that the real Grant Putnam is alive, you and Celia aren't going to have a moment's privacy. You think the publicity was bad before. Just wait.
He's absolutely right, Grant. They're going to be all over you.
I realize that.
If I were you, I wouldn't hesitate to make a clean break. Put your past behind you. Get on with your life.
It's certainly tempting.
It's really the only solution.
Yes, it would be if I just had myself to think about.
You worried about your wife?
Yes, I am. You see, I don't have a past anymore, Mr. Jackson. I've already cut myself off from all that. But Celia does. She could never contact her family or friends again. It would be as if she were dead. No, I'm just going to have to stick with my original decision. I thank you very much for your generous offer, but Celia and I are going to stay right where we are.
The matter is settled then?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'm sorry to hear that, but of course it's your decision. I just hope you won't regret it.
You and me both.
Well, I better be going. I have a lot to do. There's still a massive amount of work left. Preparing the State Department's official position on all this.
Could you tell me one thing? How much time do I have before the news becomes public?
Well, you have a few days left. I'm quite certain of that. I'll contact you soon about setting up a new identity for yourself.
Fine.
I'll see myself out. Good day, gentlemen.
Are you absolutely sure of this?
Yeah, I am.
It's going to be rough on you and Celia.
I know it is.
Look, I'm curious. You walked in here earlier, you'd practically made your mind up. Now you've changed it. Why?
Because I made a stupid, impulsive move. Celia and I had a little bit of an argument, and I ran out of the house thinking that things could never work out in Port Charles. And then the more that I thought about it, the more that I realized our leaving would only make her miserable.
I see.
Robert, I love that woman. And I'll be damned if I'm going to see her suffer because of me.
Grant, you're making this hard on yourself.
I can handle it.
I hope so.
Wouldn't you do the same thing for Holly?
No question.
All right, there's your answer. I'm glad you understand how I feel.
Look, I really wish there was some way that I could make this whole thing a little bit easier for you.
Well, there really isn't. This is just something that Celia and I are going to have to face alone.
Not quite. But friends.
I'll never forget that.
Where are you going now?
I'm going to go out, and I'm going to take a nice long walk, sort out my thoughts, and after I cool down, I'm going to rush straight home and tell my wife how much I love her.
Long lesson.
I was doing a little sleuthing on the side.
Figured, Doc. What'd you find out?
A young woman showed up at the dance studio just as I was finishing my lesson. Her name was Melissa. She offered Hannibal $15 for one lesson.
And he turned it down, of course.
Flat.
Figured.
And he said it was all or nothing, and he gave the poor girl such a spiel that she went straight off to Benny's and sold a ring that her mother had had.
Just so that she could give some money to dear sweet Hannibal.
Right.
Needless to say, Benny stuck it to her as well.
Right again. She ended up selling him a $250 ring for $125.
He's the salt of the earth. He's still in fine form.
Not quite so fine. I bought it for $130.
What'd you do, break his knees?
Just a little simple negotiating.
The poor guy, he's going to be in analysis for years.
Well, it didn't hurt that my husband was a police commissioner.
I'll bet. So what are you going to do with the ring?
I'm going to give it back to Melissa as soon as I've exposed Hannibal for the fraud that I think he is.
Well, you may have stumbled on something here.
You know what? He actually mentioned cutting down the number of classes I'm going to be doing. Again.
Boy, you must be quite a dancer.
According to Hannibal, he thinks that I'm ready to audition for Roland Gilbert any day now.
That'll be a big surprise, Mr. Gilbert.
What do you mean?
Called him this morning.
What did he say? Robert!
Never heard of Hannibal. Wanted to send the guy to the gas chamber.
Oh, can you blame him?
Well, needless to say, I dissuaded him from that course of action. However, I did say that I had one of my best men on the job.
Oh, great. I do all the work, and your department gets all the credit.
Well, welcome to the wonderful world of law enforcement. Anyway, you should be happy with a pat on the head for a job well done.
You know, you really could be quite right about this.
I knew it all along.
Well, aren't you going to say it?
What?
I told you so.
You just did, darling.
I'm going to be living this down for years.
You know something? I think when you step down as police commissioner, I might just take over, you know, keep it in the family.
And tell me, did Madame Poirot learn anything else today?
As a matter of fact, I did.
What?
Well, there was this, and this, and let me do one of these.
What about the hucklebuck?
The what?
We're going to just at the policeman's ball.